Welcome to All Things Money with David Blain, a thoughtful and revealing discussion of actionable ideas and effective strategies to help you through the complex world of investing, taxes, and real estate. Now, with All Things Money, here's David Blain.
Hello and welcome to All Things Money. My name is David Blain, your host for the show. Thank you for joining us today. We've got an exciting show planned for you in the 30 minutes ahead. If you have any comments or questions on the show, we generally get the ideas for our show from you, our viewers and listeners, out there in Cable TV 10 in New Bern and 94.1 FM WNBU. So please give us a call or email us or visit us on the web. Let us know what you're thinking, your comments, questions, topics you'd like addressed on the show. Our phone number is 252-633-0107. Our email is allthingsmoney@dlblain.com, and our web address is www.dlblain.com. And that, of course, is the website of my investment advisory firm. And we do have archived copies of the show on there and some contact information if you would like to make a comment to us. So the past couple of weeks, I've been kind of hitting it hard on annuities and why we don't like annuities, why we think that most people are getting ripped off in the marketplace about them. And, don't take my word for it. Just Google it, listen to Clark Howard or some of these other Dave Ramsey that, are out there, some of these national financial people, if you don't believe me, and get the real scoop. So I've got one more story I'm going to slide in here this morning, and then we'll be done with annuities. One of the things that I like to do is I like to present an alternative, some good information that you can use, and I just felt like I needed to cover annuities a little bit, but generally I don't like to be negative and say what we don't like. Just like politicians, don't keep bashing the other side. Tell me what you're going to do, what you can do. The same thing here, but so we're going to get off of the annuity bashing. But one more story just to illustrate. This comes out of Illinois. Two advisors out there have been fined and barred from selling securities in Illinois for their abuses of selling annuities. They were recommending that these couples transfer annuities around between this annuity and that annuity and incurring surrender fees and additional commissions. And this is another thing that we didn't really get into, but once you get into the annuity, so to me it's bad enough that you took money in an IRA that was tax deferred and you were sold an annuity. Well, then what happens, especially for many of the unscrupulous type life insurance salespeople, is then the churning starts. And every couple of years, some new annuity comes out, and the advisors want to move you into these, incurring more commissions for them, as well as potential surrender charges. And that's what happened in this case in Illinois. Just to give you a few facts on the case, they ended up losing some $27,000 in death benefits due to this move. This couple, it was actually a couple that was selling these annuities. Over the 1 year that they investigated it, they garnered $426,281 in commission from the sale of 65 annuities. And so when you do the math on that, it comes out to about $6,500 per annuity commission. And so it's a tremendous potential for abuse. They were moving the money around between annuities, promising guaranteed income for life, promising protection from Medicaid. Of the 65 annuities they sold, the average age was 73, and they racked up a total of $122,000 in surrender fees that the clients paid to various life insurance companies. And so the securities regulators said that these were unsuitable and not in the client's best interest. And as a fiduciary, an investment advisor cannot do things like that. So, if you have any more questions, like I said, Google annuity, look for independent sources to verify what I've been saying, or feel free to email us or give us a call, and we'll be happy to give you our 2 cents on annuities. Okay, let's move on to something else. A couple of topics that we've touched on the past several months. Number one, how congressmen and senators outperform the average investor, and of course my theory, as well as the professors that wrote this paper, is because they have access to inside information. We're going to touch on that. The other thing that I've mentioned, and a theme that I have, is government statistics. You can't trust them. And there's so many investment decisions that are made based on unemployment numbers, GDP numbers, and to try to come up with those numbers, the government, frankly, just don't believe them. Number two, in the corporate world is no better. A large company like GE or GM or something like that, I mean, do you really think they know exactly what they're making? And there's accounting chicanery going on. And so we have been advocating, number one, don't make all your decisions based on the governmental numbers. And number two, be wary of making decisions based on earning numbers from companies. And so I thought this next topic we're going to cover has a nice tie into that, as well as the some of the things. Now we're going to be talking about President Obama, and I do have an opinion on him. This is a financial show. We're not going to get into that, but some of the things that he said in this speech is extremely disingenuous, and this is not against him. It's to support what I've been saying all along, is that these government statistics, you have to be very cautious when looking at them and take them with a grain of salt. And so this is from the Washington Post, which any of you that I grew up in the D.C. area. The Washington Post is an extremely liberal newspaper, very supportive of democratic, liberal, Obama-type policies. And so for them to come out with this article, you know that something is really bad. So they have this thing called a fact checker, that they check facts on speeches, and the speech ties into the auto bailouts. And he gave a speech the other day out in Ohio about the auto company bailouts. And we've discussed that on this show before, and I just wanted to cover this to show you how some of these things get deceptive. So he traveled to Obama traveled to Ohio last week to tout what they consider a good news story, the bailout and the successful rescue of the domestic auto industry. And what the Washington Post investigators found was, at best, one of the most misleading, and I'm quoting, one of the most misleading collections of assertions we have seen in such a short presidential speech. Virtually every claim by the president regarding the auto industry needs an asterisk, just like the fine print in that too good to be true car loan. Well, we're coming up on a break here, so if you want to get the rest of the story, you need to tune in after the break, and we'll cover this in more detail, what exactly we're talking about. So for All Things Money, my name is David Blain, and we'll be right back after a few short messages.